Let's. So we're going to go through week 2 training today. And then what we're going to do is have you get scheduled for an actual training from that. And then we're probably going to start you in Facebook since you guys were able to go through some of that. We'll get you started in there this week and get you scheduled some shifts so we can get comfy with everything going on.
Awesome.
All right, let me share my screen. Sorry for being a little bit late. We were wrapping up an interview. Beautiful. Okay. So any questions from what you just had with Lead Sarah? Like any questions on the Facebook group? Do you feel good so far?
Yeah, feel good.
Perfect. All right. So the next account you'll get trained on after Facebook is going to be the Instagrams. So that'll be Chad and NLCA. We have 2 different Instagram accounts that we use. So those will be the next account. So we'll schedule you a training for those accounts probably tomorrow or the day after. We'll have you start working with Facebook tomorrow. So we'll get you scheduled there. How this is going to work, you will be shadowing some of our top performers. So Sarah and I will powwow on who's on shift. You'll kind of do a Zoom like you did today with Sarah, shadow how they do things in the Instagram, see how it's all done, and we'll get you comfortable in the IGs.
Okay.
Alrighty, perfect. So we'll get 2 of those shifts covered. Now, prospective clients education, I feel as though, here we go. We have gone through this. Any questions on this? Were you able to review this at all? Or do we feel pretty good about what's
I feel
good? Okay.
I'm good.
Perfect. So that is just going to essentially be which type of client is going to go in which coaching program. Ideal client, were you able to review this one?
Yep.
Beautiful. Okay. Any questions on here?
No.
Cool. I mean, understand, I think, Sarah, you probably went through like red flags, yellow flags, green flags, things like that. So you'll pick up on that as you go. Perfect. Okay. So we would love for you to start attending meetings. If you're able to, I feel like we're good with the schedule. So meetings are Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Central. I think I sent the invite to you on the calendar. I don't know if you've gotten that. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So absolutely more than welcome to come and come to the meetings Monday, Wednesday, Friday. While I'm on vacation, so I'll be leaving tomorrow to the following Wednesday. Tomorrow's meeting and the following Wednesday's meeting will only be 30 minutes. Normally they're from 11 to noon, but they're only going to be 30-minute meetings tomorrow and the following Wednesday. So would love for you to start joining, getting into the team and kind of seeing how the vibe goes. Usually how the meetings work, we pop in as a team, we share wins, we share shout outs, we kind of just get good energy going, talk about testimonials, just kind of start off with some good positive energy. We will go through data and just kind of see where we're at as a team for both the closing and the DM department. We'll talk about any challenges that we're seeing and try to work through things, brainstorm together. If the closers need help with anything from the DMers, we'll talk that, and then vice versa. And we go into breakout groups, and the breakout groups will be split into closers and DMers, and Sarah will lead those. And then you guys will do different trainings, work on updates and things of that nature.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. We would love to also have you attend a client support call. Do you have the schedule of those from the certified coach curriculum?
I believe I do.
Okay. I'll send those to you afterwards, but I'll send you a link with the call times. But this is essentially going to be just a support call that we do with our students, just so you can kind of get a feel again for how everything runs. We do calls Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday at various times. So if you just want to pop into one of those sometime this week, just kind of get a feel for how the group support calls work.
Okay.
Fantastic. Beautiful. I'll send you over the schedule and the links so you have that.
Awesome.
We'll get you scheduled in the Facebook account probably starting tomorrow. So Sarah with an H, you and I will powwow in our little group chat and get Sarah scheduled for her first shift tomorrow. Do you have availability tomorrow? What's your schedule like?
What do I have going on tomorrow? Give me 1 second here.
That way we can get you scheduled for that. Lead Sarah, how long do we feel like we would want her to work a first shift? Like 4 hours, 5 hours?
If in Facebook, there's not gonna be much to do in 4 hours. So I would say if we started with like a 2-hour block and then see if there's anything that pops through, or if we did a 2-hour block in the morning and a 2-hour block in the afternoon, there might be something to do in the afternoon. But we don't get a whole lot of traffic in there.
Cool. What we could do too is back it up to a shadow. So if we can have her do a couple hours in the Facebook group right before or after she goes into the IG training, that would be beneficial too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if we could do it when Sarah, you're like available, if she needs anything, that would be helpful, because you're gonna be far more helpful to her when it comes to that than I am.
I'm good all day tomorrow, and nobody
Beautiful.
else is in free group. So I told her if Sarah needs any help, just to ask, and we will all be able there to help her out.
Perfect.
So the
Thank
three of
you.
us can powwow afterwards. Let's look at the schedule, lead Sarah, and see who is running the IGs tomorrow. And then what we'll do is get you on a couple hours of Facebook just to kind of get some experience, get in there. And then we'll back you up to a training with another DMer. So you can
Okay.
learn.
Yeah,
Cool.
that works for me.
Wonderful. All right, homework after training, we're probably gonna be able to get through 2 of these. Just making sure you're comfortable with doing the daily tasks. So getting comfortable with sending follow-up messages, new messages, carrying out conversations. That's obviously gonna come with repetition. So over the next few days, you'll have a lot more hands-on training, which is gonna be beneficial for that. And then making sure we are learning how not to get action blocked. Have we discussed that yet, Sarah?
I'm familiar with it.
Okay, and I know
So-
we talked about the accounts. We usually, and you can see this on the social media tracker, we'll have kind of like how many follow-ups and new calls we can do on both the IGs. I'll make sure it's updated for the Facebooks, but just making sure we're not sending out mass numbers of messages, in big chunks of time. So if you get into your shift, don't send 100 follow-ups within 30 minutes, right? That big bulk of activity is going to be a challenge. What I'll do is I'll kind of show you.
I'm used to about 10 to 15 messages an hour.
Okay, and you're gonna have, what is happening? You'll be able to do a lot. You'll be able to do more in ours. Here we go.
Okay.
So we have. Follow-ups, avoiding being action blocked. These are going to be the big keys here. So it's highlighted, but just making sure we are not consistently like copying, pasting messages over and over and over again, because what's going to happen is Instagram and Facebook are going to recognize that as potential spam account. So if we're just like copying, pasting the same messages, wash, rinse, repeat over and over and over again, that's going to be a big red flag to social media. And you can always refer back to your script, because this will be right here towards the bottom. Not sending, again, similar messages over and over again to the same people. So if we're going to, into the follow-ups and we're like, can't wait for you to respond. And then we say, can't wait for you to respond. Looking forward to your response. That's going to get, one, annoying to the person who's receiving those messages, but two, again, it's going to be flagged as potential spam, and probably shut our account down. Because we are a business and because we do have a lot of volume, we do need to keep an extra eye on these little things, because if we lose an account for a day, oh, the pain, ooh, the heartache.
Yeah.
So we cannot afford to do that. Not sending more than 30 outbound messages a day. Sarah, I wouldn't say that this is like exact across the board anymore, but what would you say is kind of like the newer average? You say we're going about 30?
Yeah,
30-ish?
yeah. Based on which, like if you're sending new messages, follow-ups, and how soon everything's coming in.
And then we want to split that, right? So we want to make sure that if we can do about 30 new messages a day, you don't send 29 of them at 8 a.m. and then we have nothing to work with the rest of the day. So if we know we can send about 30, 40 new messages a day, I would double check to see how many people are going to be working that account that you're on. If it's Chad's Instagram, there's probably going to be 2 to 3 people in that account each day. So we want to make sure we're kind of like splitting that up across the board. Unless obviously you have fantastic, engagement and conversations going.
Okay.
So splitting that up, usually we want to kind of do a little bit, half and half, morning and afternoon. Having a little bit of time in between too. So if you see like 10 people you want to message, don't just like copy paste again all those messages. And then splitting your follow-up process. That's going to be beneficial. Go back and see.
1 second, please. Sorry.
You're good. Story of my life. Puma snores on all my calls. Oh no, it wasn't Puma, not me. Yeah. Pumbaa doesn't bark. He barks like once. So if anyone knocks, he'll bark like once or twice, and then he
I can't picture Pumbaa barking. That's why I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. Pumbaa's barking.
no, and he's so like condensed that it's like, ugh. Like that's the sound he makes when he barks. I'm just like, oh my God. Yeah, it's got a lot of pressure here in the chest. All right. Let me know. You don't have to turn your volume back on, but let me know if you can hear me. Okay.
They know they're in trouble.
Uh-oh. Anytime Pumbaa's barking, I'm like, what is the world ending? What's going on here? Why is this happening? Beautiful. So follow-ups, splitting up that process too. It's very likely that you'll have a big number of follow-ups to get through. People won't see messages. They won't respond to messages. So if you notice, obviously there's like 50 people we need to respond to today. Again, not going through and doing all 50 in 5 minutes, right? Split that up a little bit, go back and work your way up. Do have your follow-ups now. Do have them towards the end of your shift. So that way there's some space in between. We just don't want to bombard the system with copy paste follow-up messages across the board.
Okay.
Make sure there's 24 hours in between messages and that the previous message has been seen. If the message doesn't show that it's been seen, we're probably not going to send follow-up messages because they haven't looked at the first one. So
Right.
I look like creepy stalker. When it comes to follow-ups as well, we would like about 24 hours in between. Reason for that is we have kind of a message cadence. So after the third follow-up message, we're probably going to send them to the free Facebook group or to the community chat or send them something. And we don't want to send them to a free Facebook group and like forget them as a lead in a day. We need this to be some time that we're trying to attract their attention. So for follow-ups, we'd like a day in between those follow-up messages. So we're not, again, being too pushy and sending too many messages to the same person.
Okay.
Sarah, anything you want to add to that? Cool. Perfect. And then every 48 hours, clearing your cookies in your search history will just help keep things. I think the best way to describe this is the more interaction and the more engagement you do on like a social media platform, the more there's going to be like space used on your computer or your phone. So going back and deleting your search history, deleting your cookies is going to just make things flow easier and less buildup, if that makes sense, of like remembered activity. That's how I would describe it. But if there's a better way, Paige or Sarah, that you have to kind of describe that, that would be cool. Beautiful. All right. Any questions on action blocking?
No.
Perfect. Yeah, we just really don't want that to happen at all, especially on the Instagrams. We have to be very diligent on the IGs. If we lose one of those, I will sob. Beautiful. Perfect. Why am I like this today? This is good. Awesome. So script tweaks according to platform. Every platform is going to be just a smidge different. I would say for the most part, you're going to follow a very typical DM outreach script for all IGs, Facebook. For the most part, the script itself will not change, but there's going to be a couple different tweaks for, again, different platforms, for example. So as you go through the script, this is long, I know, but I did try to clean it up so that it's easy to follow. You have kind of your order of daily tasks, how we're going to structure our messages, but the majority of the script will be here. The messages that we're sending, it's very straightforward. This is what you're going to follow on like 99% of platforms. When you get taught VSL, this is phone call. This is phone call outreach. So it's going to be a little bit different, or texting, which might come across a little bit different. So that will be a little different of a script. We're going to follow the same script, but we're going to pitch a little bit differently, and book a little bit differently.
Okay.
Beautiful. LinkedIn, little tweak to LinkedIn because it is, how do I describe LinkedIn? Instagram is more of like a casual conversation. LinkedIn is a little bit more of a professional platform. So we just want to kind of start by acknowledging their jobs, their career history, how long they've been coaching for. So typically we start at that point in the script and then carry the conversation from there, because with LinkedIn, it is professional. We know what they do for work. We know that they're already a coach. We know those things. Right. So we'll kind of start in a different spot, then follow the normal script. And then we have a slight tweak to the pitch, but you'll be able to find that here as well. Beautiful. So booking on the closer's calendar, triage calls. Have we talked about the triage process?
Briefly.
Okay.
I showed her the breakdowns on the booking tracker and kind of went over what a triage would look like in a conversation versus not. But I also told her if she wasn't 100% sure, any one of us can jump in and just look over that conversation and tell her yes or no what she's thinking.
Yeah, so essentially a triage call would be like a 15-minute phone call that a couple of our team members who are trained on will get on with these individuals. So instead of booking them for a full sales call, they would be booked for a triage if we just don't know if they're a good lead, or we don't have a strict sense of urgency. We don't have a lot of clear goals, but we think they could still be okay. Get them on a triage. What's going to happen on that triage is the person taking that call is going to be able to get to know that person a little bit more, set clearer expectations, figure out their financial situation, figure out their urgency, and then decide if they're actually a good fit or not for the program. So the triage is a warm-up call. We do this to make sure quality of our leads are getting, booked on calls, but also this person has a clear expectation of what we do. Not everyone needs to be triaged. Most people don't need to be triaged. So the majority of your calls are pretty much going to be yeses or nos, but if there's kind of that gray area, this is where the triage comes in.
Okay.
So how to identify this essentially is urgency. If they say that they don't want to start their business until later than 90 days, so 3 months or more, I want to start my business in 6 months. I want to start my business in a year. I want to start my business in 4 months. If they don't have an earlier sense of urgency, probably a good opportunity for a triage. If they can't take a call for I would say on average 3 days plus. So it's Monday, they can't get on a call until next week, Friday. Probably good to get them on a triage in between, just to kind of keep that conversation fresh, keep them excited in between that call. That's also going to increase the chance that they show up to that call. What we've found is calls booked longer than 3 days out, the chance of them showing to that sales call goes down drastically. So it's just a way to kind of keep the prospects a little bit warmer, keep them a little bit more excited and engaged, and build a little bit of trust so they're more likely to show to that sales call.
Okay.
Quality. If we would grade someone less than a 3, so a 1 out of 5, probably never going to get booked, but around a 2 of 5 or maybe a low 3, they should probably get booked for a triage. If we just don't know, you'll get that sense too. We're like,
Okay.
I don't know if this person is going to be a good fit. We'll go through how this is going to be something that we can kind of do as you go. But Laura, Alyssa, and Aubrey all take triage calls. So if you think someone is good for a triage, this will be the pitch for the triage. This will be where you book. So you'd book just like you would for a closer, but it would be for a 15-minute phone call instead of a Zoom call. And then here's the same exact message you'll send, and then how to book it.
Okay.
So we'll get to this the first time you triage. I think it's easier to learn as you do it, but this is a great resource where if you're not sure about somebody, let us know. We can look over the conversation and then walk you through this. But essentially, it's going to be the same script, except your pitch is going to be for a 15-minute call as opposed to a 45 to 60-minute Zoom call.
Okay.
Beautiful. And then what happens on that? Let's say you book the triage, it's your booking, and Laura takes this call. When she says, hey, this is a great lead, I'm going to book them for Joey, you will still get your booking credit on there.
Okay.
It doesn't change just because Laura then took a triage. She'll get triage credit, and that's separate.
Okay.
Your booking. So easy peasy. And then you'll ring the bell for a triage as normal. You'll put it in the tracker. We'll go through all that as you go. And then you don't need this, but this is the script for what we're asked on the triage, in case you want to look it over and know kind of what's discussed.
Okay.
Beautiful. All righty. DMR projections. How do we feel here? I know we talked about these yesterday. Have you had a chance to review that? Obviously the first time we'll go in and do that, which will be tomorrow. We'll practice that. Beautiful.
I went through everything that we went through yesterday. I went through yesterday.
Perfect.
After we met.
Beautiful. The social media checklist, again, this is just a reminder of what to do on each platform. So as you go in tomorrow, this will kind of be your first checklist just to make sure you're getting everything done. Sarah will walk you through that tomorrow as well. Easy peasy, but just as a reminder, you'll have this here as a, what should I be doing right now kind of checklist.
Okay.
Beautiful. All right, booking tracker. Now I know that you and Sarah went through this a little bit, but we do have a guide. So if you want a specific step-by-step, this is going to be your best friend. So Sarah, let me ask you this. Did you go through you went through how to book a call?
Yep, we did a whole test. It's still in the booking tracker under test. And we clicked on each button, did a drop down to show what the options are to pick from, that sort of thing.
Beautiful. Okay. How do you feel about this so far?
Good. And she said that, Sarah said that if I had any issues that I could just jump in the chat and ask her.
Yep, those are easy. But I'm glad you guys already covered this. So essentially you will have the person's name, the day that they booked, the day that you booked the call, which would be always the day that you put this in, the DMer, which would be you or whoever it is, the advisor. If they did have a triage call, this is where that would go. So it would be
Okay.
Laura, Alyssa, or Aubrey. So the advisor would be their triage, like their icon for a triage.
Okay.
The closer, so whoever is taking that call, where they came from, and then what suggested program that is. And I know you guys already went through this, but just as a reminder, the date, the time in CST, and then their time zone. That'll be the hardest one, I think. Not that it's like overly difficult, but just remembering to convert everybody's time zone can get a little funky. So slow down on those ones. I know we move with speed, but we want to make sure that the booking tracker is as accurate as possible. So take your time on especially your first like 20 bookings. Make sure we feel really confident about each thing. And then you won't have to do any of this. This will be for the closers when they get on that call. Then you have your little plus sign. That's your bubble. Start conversation. This is where you would upload all of your screenshots, any notes. The closers will update notes here as well. So if you're like, wow, this person's a really great lead, I'm excited for their call. After their call, their closer will put any notes in here about what happened on the call, how it went, what they discussed, what the objections were. So if you ever want to peep or check in on that, you can always look at this bubble again, and you'll get notified every time an update is made to somebody that you've booked.
Okay.
Perfect. Only other thing, and this is just like more of a, if you want to, is if you're ever curious, the closers should be uploading the call recordings here. So if you're ever curious, like, oh, I really don't understand why that person didn't close, they were such a great lead, feel free to watch their call. I'd love the DMers to, browse some of the calls that they book. If you'd like to see kind of how the closers did on that call, what their objections were, feel free to check it out, see what they did.
Okay.
What it was all about. You absolutely do not have to, but if you're ever curious, you have that link there as well. Perfect. The booking tracker guide, this will get sent to you in your email today. But this will be a good, easy step-by-step. So if you're like, what should I be doing? You've got, here's how to add the name, here's how to add the DMer, the closer. It's very step-by-step on everything that you already learned with Sarah today.
Okay.
How do we feel so far? I know it's a lot. Yeah, you feel good?
Oh, yeah, good.
It's gonna feel good once you start doing it. I think the
Yes.
hardest part is taking in the knowledge, but executing will be a lot easier. Perfect. Okay, and then we do have the overview video as well. So if you want to open this up, there's videos for every single SOP. Almost every single SOP. So if you're like reading through something and you just aren't sure, you have a video that will explain each step. So that way you have not just the training you did with Sarah, not just a readable visual, but a video showing step-by-step how to do it. That will be given to you as well. Cool. All righty. We will update the staff onboarding board. That is all good here. And then course progress board. So this is just going to ensure that we are working on your course curriculum. You've got access to that now. So love to see you start learning some modules, listening to the videos, and kind of absorbing the content. So that way you know how we work. And then we have our course progress board. Let me see. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Do you know if you have access to this? Did you get invited here? I don't.
To the course progress board.
Yeah, I
Or
don't.
not on the board.
Okay, cool. So I'll make a note of that. We'll get you access to this today. But essentially, what will happen is you will have your name. Let's just, oops, add a person. Nope. All right, we'll go back. I'm gonna let Kimmy do this because here I am messing it up. But you'll have your own name. And then as you go through each module, you can click on done. So every week we'll have kind of like an ideal what we want to get through. So you can see like week 1 of you working on the course, we want to get through these 2 modules, right? And then you will select when they're done. And then you'll go through week 2, has a little drop down. these are the 2 modules we want to get done, and then you'll hit done. So that way we keep you on like a good pace of learning, and you don't have to jam the entire course curriculum in 72 hours. We want to keep you on a consistent cadence of bringing in the material. So I'll attach you to this board, and you can just kind of see, these are great ones. Everyone, here has completed them. I think Kayla's, in progress for week 3 or whatever. So every drop down from the week will have the couple of modules that we want you to try to get through. Watch those modules, mark them as done. So that way I can kind of keep an eye on where you're at for course progress.
Okay.
Perfect. Any questions on this?
No.
Beautiful. What we'll do too, Sarah, once we're all done with training, this is both Sarah's, once we're completely done with training, I would love to get you into Monday, because you can edit your Monday to make it a little bit more organized. I think right now you probably just have like a whole list of boards that you're attached to. Yeah. And what you can do is go in, and this is, how I have mine edited is like, here are the trackers, here are the management things I need, here's the coaching board. So you can section them into boards and groups, so you don't have to just like be lost in the sauce trying to find everything. So we'll show you how to edit Monday, so it's just very easy for you to manage and process. Oh, Sarah, yes. You can do that. Perfect.
Okay.
When we have like the normal like workspaces too, you can break it up into workspaces, you can break it up into favorites and organize it so it's not just like a whole hoopla of mayhem. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Beautiful. So Sarah H, with an H, I will show you that as well. We can work on that together. Cool. All right, extra resources. So NLCA ambassadors, this is a great one. This is essentially the community chat that you're a part of. Why we use ambassadors. So this is the closer ambassadors. I'll kind of explain Jammer ambassadors, but 2 things here. We have 2 separate sections of ambassadors. Now, ambassadors are current or former students who are sharing their experience with potential students. So what happens from the closing side of things is, let's say one of the leads you booked doesn't close. The closers can connect them with a student. So they will say, hey, you know what? You remind me of this person. I think you would, value from speaking to somebody. I'm going to connect you with a former student of ours, current student of ours, and you guys can chat. So what happens is the closers will put them in a 3-way conversation. They get to ask questions, talk about challenges, talk about fears, and then that person will get back on a call with the closing team after they've met with their ambassador and hopefully close. And it does really well. I think about a 35% close rate for anyone who speaks to an ambassador, which is awesome. We do something very similar in the DM side. So that community chat that we have is essentially our DMing version of ambassadors. So we have a lot of students in there. Everyone who books a call gets the link to the community chat. I know we've already talked about this and you've probably seen it in the chat 100 times, but we're going to talk about it again. Every single person that gets booked a call gets an invite to that community chat. They get to pop in, ask questions, share fears, share struggles, and then our students will share their experience, help, reassure them, hype them up, get them excited for their sales call. So that way on the sales call, they've already got some trust built with us. They're excited. They're usually a lot easier to go through the process with, which is great. Okay. So every single person you book you'll send the link to that community chat. This is also the WhatsApp chat that will have you learning to like prospect from as well, because it is a chat. So I feel like overall, we've talked about this a few times, but we do have like an overview video here as well. But do you have any questions on the ambassadors or the WhatsApp chat?
No.
Beautiful. We feel pretty good about that.
Yep.
Awesome. All righty. Now I'm going to start in week 3 since we've got some time. If y'all are good with that. So essentially the standard for training is going to be Facebook group, which we'll get you started on tomorrow, which you've already trained on today, learning the Instagrams, and then we'll go through and learn some of the smaller accounts and texting and VSL. So okay, we'll get to this later in the week, but we'll have you be shadowing every single person's account before you get into that account by yourself. So you will see how it's done. Sarah, you want to say something?
Yes. I didn't have her do the Google Voice. Mm-hmm. So in free group, we do have people who join and they leave their phone numbers, and we want to send the messages through Google Voice. Do I walk her through that? Do you want to walk her through that, or just send her the doc and kind of walk her through that through voice messaging? Because she won't need the WhatsApp part yet, but she will need the Google Voice if she's getting in tomorrow.
Yeah, let's set her, let's powwow later on. And then I can help Sarah. I'll get one-on-one with you guys, and we can get you set up into Google Voice. So that way you don't have to use your personal phone number to send out messages. So we use
Perfect.
Google Voice, and you can text and call from that. And then that way, when you are doing messages from like the free Facebook group, you can use Google Voice instead of your personal phone number, and we'll show you how to do that. So we'll get you set up later on today with Google Voice, and then make sure you have access to that before your first shift tomorrow.
Okay.
Perfect. Beautiful. Alrighty. So what's going to happen here? We are going to learn like cold emailing, LinkedIn, the community chat, texting, and then, getting comfortable with the IGs and the Facebook. So this will kind of be one of the last big chunks of training will be here. Emails. Sarah, Paige, do you guys want to explain email lists? Because I will be very truth first. I've not done anything with our email list.
I don't honestly think they do emails anymore.
Thank goodness. Okay. I didn't think so either.
Mm-mm.
Beautiful. So forget about that. You don't have to send 50 emails a day. Wonderful. LinkedIn procedure though, I kind of already explained that in the script, but you will have, well, Paige, have you been having issues with this? Because yesterday this happened to me too. The dock will just like turn off and not let me click on anything.
Oh, that is really weird.
If I hit refresh, this whole dock will go away. So I don't want to do that.
Did it sign you out? Because it says this
mean-
web page has reloaded because of a problem.
Oh no, it's good. Oh, but it's you. That's you.
Yeah, I'm on it.
On it. Oh, thank you.
I'm just like sitting on it. You're like, how the hell did my sign in as you? No, I'm just sitting on the dock right now because I was looking at it. No, sometimes it will sign you. Mine signs me out randomly. I don't know why. And then I have to like re-sign back in, and then it's fine. I have no
Huh.
clue.
Okay, well,
You're not alone though.
I promise I'm not a spouse every day. Just Tuesdays apparently. All right, so email list we'll take off the to-dos, and I'll take that out when I send you the recap from today as well. Don't have to worry about that. But the LinkedIn procedure will be a little bit different, and we are really trying to build up our smaller accounts. LinkedIn is a smaller account. TikTok is a smaller account for sure. We just don't do a lot there. Not that we couldn't. We just honestly, bandwidth wise, need the focus to be on the bigger accounts right now, like Instagram and ads. So VSL. But with more employees comes more bandwidth to do more things. So LinkedIn will definitely be something that we start to push for. So as you go through this process, Sarah, she'll be able to train you on this as well. But going in, we'll have kind of a very similar, you're good, Sarah, I don't need to do whatever you're doing. So with the LinkedIn procedure, you'll have more hands-on training the first time you go in, but essentially it's sending requests and building connections, very similar to Facebook or Instagram, but we're trying to build connections. We want to see more suggestions for you. That's going to be the kind of the main platform there. And then request people who are obviously trainers, coaches in the health and fitness field, not like accountants, right? We're not going to try to connect with an accountant or, another business coach, right? We want to find people who are fitness trainers, personal trainers, online coaches. When you're looking for new connections or new leads, you can go to search and then just search relevant terms like fitness coach, personal trainer, group exercise instructor, dietitian. Things like that are all ways that we can find more people who might fit into our community. Beautiful. You can send those connection requests. We'll make sure that we are managing and seeing who's accepted those connection requests, because that obviously typically won't get notified of that. So you'll have to go through and look at those connection requests, and then we can go and send out messages to those people. So when you do this, we're going to follow the normal DM script. The only difference is that typically we start with a comment about their job. How long have you been coaching for? I see that you're a coach. What got you into health and fitness? We're going to start by connecting to their career path, because that is what LinkedIn is for, is business, is professional connection. So we will send a message. You will follow the normal DM script per usual. It's not very different than the other accounts. It's just not something we use as often as we would like to. So we'll get you comfortable, but this would be an easy one to start to learn for sure. Exact same follow-up procedure for every other account. We have a how-to video here where you can kind of go in and oversee LinkedIn. But overall, there's not a big difference between LinkedIn and Facebook or Instagram besides how we search for people.
Right.
DM script is the same, except we start with talking about their career.
Yeah, I'm familiar with LinkedIn. That's what I used to do for Joey. So we're good.
Perfect. We're good on LinkedIn. I love to hear it. Let's go. All right, let's bounce back. We might get through lots of stuff today, guys. Let's go. That's really it on that one because the email list is not something that we do, and I will take that off. Let's continue on. We've got 15 minutes. How much can we get through? Can we finish it? Can we do it all? And the rest can just be training. All right, so VSL is going to be one. VSL, essentially how that works is, what's the L in VSL? Video sales. What am I missing? My brain is letter. Jesus. Okay.
Video
so
sales letter. Yeah.
video sales letter. Essentially what our VSL is a video that explains our program, what we do, how it works. It's essentially like a one-stop shop of like, if you want to know what NLCA is, this is the video for you. So we use that in ads, we use that in marketing. People will see that video all over. It sends them to another platform where they could fill out an application, where that comes in as a type form. They can fill out like an interest, and we get everyone who has filled out interest through VSL into a spreadsheet. We'll get their name, their phone number, their email, the day and the time that they saw the video when they, showed interest, and then we call them. So VSL, we do outbound dialing for. So once you learn VSL, you'll have access to the spreadsheet. You will see leads coming in that are interested in learning about NLCA. And then we call them. You can also use Google Voice for this. You do not have to call people with your personal phone number.
Okay.
Again, we will train on this in depth, but essentially VSL is just going to be another platform we can use. And these people have opted to hear about us. So don't feel like nervous to call strangers.
Right.
They know that it's coming and they know that we are calling. If they do not answer, we've called a couple of times, we will text them as well and do like a text outreach as opposed to just like waiting for them to answer the phone, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Perfect. Overall, I'm going to pause. How are we feeling so far?
I mean, I'm a little nervous about the VSL thing
Don't
because
worry
I'm
about it.
not used to doing this over the phone.
Yeah. Not everybody does VSL. We want everyone to get trained. It's going to be a little uncomfortable the first time, but
Yeah.
just, I would say it's more good. It's more a good conversation than not. Most of the time, it's
Right.
either people are going to answer and say, call me back later, or sweet, let's book a time. Then they're going to say like, fuck you, right? Because they've seen the video, they've opted in. So there's not going to be as
Yeah.
much denial there.
Okay.
Sarah, anything you want to add to that as far as like what to expect with VSL?
A lot of times people will either answer or not answer, like she said. And some people will say, can you just text me? And so then you just text them. They're short and sweet messages. They're quick. They know what you're calling for. So that helps a lot. And it's a good platform. So it's nervous because you're calling somebody, but like she said, they know you're calling.
Okay.
Yeah. The nice thing about VSL, like Sarah said, it's a good platform because these are people that are coming to us, showing interest in us versus like the outreach. Because outreach is just people that maybe like our content, but maybe don't want our services. So the fact that they're filling out this form and they're like, hey, I am interested, here's my information, that's a good sign, which means they're probably decent. So, but like Sarah said, I would often hear from like all the DMers that a lot of times they don't answer, but you're just going to turn around and text them. And sometimes they'll text you right back, like immediately. So, I don't think there's a ton of actual talking that happens, even though it's an outbound dialing platform.
Okay.
And like very truth first, I don't answer phone calls ever.
I don't either. I have my phone. You guys want to see my phone right now? I keep my phone on do not disturb. Jess knows this.
I can't.
Do you see how many hold on right there. You sent me 69 missed calls.
Like, no, I have someone
yeah.
calling me like once a week and for like an application I filled out to like refinance my car. And I'm like, I guess I won't do it because I'm not answering this phone call. Like,
Yeah,
can you just
not
text me?
happening. You either can email me what I need with directions or I'm not doing it.
No, I'm not going to answer. I don't want to save any money. I'm over it. So people just probably won't, because that is the day and age, right? People just like text me. It's easier. I don't want to talk on the phone. So it's very unlikely that you have a ton of like active conversations going.
Okay.
Yeah, it's our generation. Easy peasy. If you can't send me the information I need in a message or an email, I guess I don't want it anymore. So
Jess, you were part of that conversation too, where I was telling you guys, like, if somebody even knocks on the door, like I will
I'm hiding.
lay on the floor and like don't answer. Like
yeah,
hide.
I
I'm
would
like,
rather
"Oh,
die
God."
in this moment than answer the door.
Yes. I feel the same way about phone calls. I'm like,
No.
not answer the door, not answer the phone. Nope, 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 nope. not
And that's
happening.
why like I don't like my apartment building as much because they got maintenance in our place like
Yeah.
twice a month, just checking in on things. I'm like, please leave me alone. Like,
Yeah, it's like I don't even want to
Oh.
walk past. Like if I was you, I wouldn't even want to walk past somebody like to go to my car. Like no, like avoid human interaction at all costs.
nah, nope. So yeah, don't feel bad. VSL, easy peasy.
All right.
Easy peasy. Beautiful. So as we go through, just to let you know, we will have kind of like a 30-day eval, 60-day eval, 90-day eval, just to kind of check in on you, see where we're making progress, see what we still need to improve on. And you, me, and Sarah will do those and just make sure that you're comfortable, you're learning what you need to learn, you have support in all aspects, and then we're making improvements in areas that we need to make improvement in. So don't be afraid of these evals. They're not to be like, they're not specifically like performance evaluations. They're more so, are we learning everything we need? Are we doing things efficiently? Are there areas we can improve on? What are they? But more so checking in on you and making sure that you're doing what you need to do, month over month. So does that make sense? Those will be easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we're going to do from here is just pair you with a couple of staff members on different accounts over the next few days, get you shadowing, different performers, get you shadowing different people to see how they do things. Because everyone, again, is going to do things a little differently. I know that you all like to kind of read through each other's conversations because you could be like, oh, Laura really said this well. I love the way she explained that. I'm also going to take that too. Or, oh, I like the way that Alyssa does VSL. That's super interesting. Love the way she handled that conversation. So we want you to kind of learn from different people so you can kind of pick, what works for everybody and make it your own as well. So from here, we're absolutely going to make sure you get connected with a couple of different staff members on different platforms so you can see how they do things, how they vibe, and what you enjoy from each one.
Okay.
Triage procedure. I jumped ahead. We did this already. Good job myself. Do you feel good on the triage process though?
Yeah.
Perfect. And then obviously the first time you start getting that, like, I don't know if this person's a good lead, let us know. And we can kind of help you walk through that conversation and just see, all right, should we triage or are we okay to proceed?
Okay.
Beautiful. All right. Yeah, I don't need to do anything from the 60 to 90 because we're not at the 60 to 90 day mark. So this is essentially just going to be making sure we're where we need to be for days 60 and day 90. You will get a couple of shadowing throughout the 90-day process. It's not just going to be this week and then done. I'd still like when we have, kind of downtime or off time on accounts that you're still getting to know, we still have you shadow other people in those accounts.
Okay.
Cool. All right, y'all. We did it. This is great. So we can spend the rest of the week just diving into the accounts and training. Sarah, Paige, anything you want to add to this before we start scheduling training?
No, I'm just okay. So we're going to get Sarah on Facebook's tomorrow, and then we're going to get her signed into Google Voice. You'll need to select your emoji and then shadowing other DMers on all the accounts. Is that right?
So we're going to set up, let me stop share. We'll get you set up with Google Voice today. As far as the emojis go, I know Sarah explained that you'll have kind of like your emoji that you use in most of your messages to track who sent what. I don't care what your main emoji is, just make sure it's not one that's already being used. So we have the list of emojis we can send you, and then just pick the emoji that you want all of your messages to be associated with. And that's the emoji you'll use in most of your conversations.
Okay.
Cool. So pick an emoji. That'll be your homework. Pick an emoji. Review everything. I'm going to convert the video and get the email sent over. I've been converting it as YouTube because my storage is garbage. So give me about 20-30 minutes for that. But I will send over the recap. I'll send over this video. Homework will be pick your emoji. Sarah, you and I will get her scheduled for Facebook for tomorrow. But what I want to do is powwow with Sarah and see who's on the IGs. And then we'll kind of back you up to that training. So I'll have you spend a couple hours in Facebook and then move into a shadowing with someone else. Sarah, you got.
Are you available like midday? Are you EST or CST? Let me say that first.
I'm CST.
You are CST. Okay, so are you available midday tomorrow? Like
Yes.
12 to like 3?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Cool. So if you're good, let's do the 11 a.m. meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
So we'll have 11 a.m. meeting. We'll probably have you 12 p.m. Are you thinking shadowing somebody? Sarah?
Well, actually, if you did, are you gonna join our meeting tomorrow? Because tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so if you did like 1 to 2, just to get started in free group, Alyssa is in Chad's from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So she gets right in then. So you'd be able to see getting right in after somebody else and how that looks. And then Laura is in NLCA all day. So she could do Chad's with Alyssa for a half an hour and then get right into NLCA with Laura, who's been in. So then she would see what it looks like being in for a while with Laura from 2:30 to 3. I mean, you would literally be in Zooms from 11 to 3, but you would hit all of the accounts. You would see Laura, you would see Alyssa, and you would have access into free group.
Yeah, that works for me.
Cool. So the meeting is 11 to 11:30 tomorrow. It's only gonna be a 30-minute meeting. So you guys won't have breakouts. And then are you saying just kind of take some time in between and then at 1 o'clock, go into the Facebook group? CST?
Or 12 CST, you could go right in. So then you'd have 2 hours in there, like do 12 to 2 in free group. And then we'll get you hooked up with Alyssa, who's going to be in Chad's Instagram from like 2 to 2:30. And then Laura, you can bump over, who's in NLCA from 2:30 to 3.
Is 30 minutes enough time on those accounts?
Yeah, because during that, she'd be able to see the follow-up. She'd be able to see the new messages, probably a booking during that time because the afternoon is a good time for bookings versus mid-morning. So that might work. And if we need to extend it, we can totally extend it too. Because like I said, Laura's in there all day.
Okay. I'm almost feeling, and I don't know, Paige, if you would think that, I'm almost feeling maybe like an hour in each account.
Yeah, if we can't get her to shadow Alyssa for an hour, that's fine if we just have her do the 30 minutes, but I'd like her to be with Laura a little bit longer since Alyssa's is shorter.
Okay. Yeah. Alyssa gets into Chad's at 2. So she's going to be in there from 2 to 8. So she could do an hour in both.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do 2 to 3 and then let's do 3 to 4. That's fine.
Sarah, let's powwow if you can talk to Alyssa and Laura privately, and then we can get everybody connected. So we'll recap. 11 a.m. sales meeting, CST. 12 to 2 in the Facebook group. We'll have you, doing your thing from 12 to 2. You'll shadow Alyssa from 2 to 3, and you'll shadow Laura from 3 to 4, and then you'll be done with your day. But that way you'll get Facebook group and both IGs tomorrow, which I think will be super beneficial. And then I would say what I would like for Sarah, you to do, and I'm going to put this on you, you got this, girl, and Paige, accountability for this is after we go through training tomorrow, because I'm going to be pretty off the grid tomorrow, is getting her scheduled on Thursday or Friday for the WhatsApp chat and VSL.
That was going to be my next question. Thursday, who is on VSL? Is there anybody on VSL on Thursday?
Aubrey is on from
Okay.
8 to 2.
Okay, let's have her shadow Aubrey on Thursday on VSL, and she can get into Google Voice today. And then Friday, what else would she need to shadow? That's it.
Some of the smaller accounts, LinkedIn, TikTok.
Okay, is anybody on any of those on Friday?
I don't think so.
Nobody's on Friday.
Okay, what are you doing on Friday? Sarah, could you do 30 minutes and let her shadow you? Just kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do that. I know Alyssa's not working. I was gonna say Alyssa does TikTok a lot. So she might be able to show her that tomorrow. If there's not a lot of action in
Okay.
Chad's, she might be able to show her TikTok tomorrow.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's
If
drop that
not, I
down
can-
if you,
I can show her Friday.
and then what about LinkedIn?
Same thing, nobody's in there.
Okay, let's reach out to Aubrey and see if she can, if she's cool with Sarah shadowing tomorrow VSL. Let's reach out to Alyssa to see if Alyssa is cool with just showing her TikTok tomorrow. And then, do you want to show her LinkedIn on Friday? Or do you want to ask one of them?
I'll see what's happening tomorrow, and if Alyssa is completely dead in Chad's, then she'll be able to do TikTok and LinkedIn because she jumps back and forth since they're both small accounts.
Okay, perfect.
If it doesn't get covered, then I'll cover it Friday with Sarah.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. Okay, so game plan, we've got sales meeting, we've got free group, we've got shadowing of Alyssa and Laura tomorrow, and then Thursday, potentially VSL, TikTok, LinkedIn. If not, we've got LinkedIn Friday. Okay, perfect. All
So,
that sounds
and
great.
Sarah,
Am I by myself from 12 to 2 in free group?
Yes.
yes, but Sarah has you. She's free. She will be,
Mhm.
she'll be monitoring.
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions, shoot over. And like I said, we all have access to the account. So if you're like in and you're like, what do I do with this person? And you're like stuck, I can jump right in from my phone as well and be like, okay, so on this, you're going to do this, and then you'll do it. But I can partner
Coach you.
with you at the same time, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, perfect.
Beautiful. So, okay, recap tomorrow, 11 a.m. sales meeting, 12 to 2 in Facebook, 2 to 3 with Alyssa, 3 to 4 with Laura. Thursday, we'll get you connected with Aubrey for VSL. Friday, if we haven't gotten LinkedIn and TikTok done, Sarah, you will train her on that on Friday, but likely Alyssa will probably be able to get into TikTok and LinkedIn tomorrow as well. Beautiful. So homework, pick your emoji.
Okay.
We'll get you into Google Voice. I'll send that over here in just a little while. Probably around like 2. Your girl's gonna be back to back for a little bit, just a little bit.
That's fine.
Why are so many people in my Zoom right now? I do not have that many people in a meeting next. And then Sarah, can you connect with Alyssa, Laura, Aubrey, and get them all hooked up for training? Perfect. Cool. I love it.
Perfect. And then
And-
just send us an update if you would, Sarah. You can send it in the full management chat, the one that you and Joe you're in.
Okay.
Just fill us in over there if you would.
Yep, I will do that.
All right, fabulous. Thank you so much, guys. It was good seeing your faces.
Awesome. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a good day.
Bye.
See ya.